Today, I want to show you how to start your plants from seed using a very common seed starting mix. So there are so many different ways you can make your own seed starting mix, but I want to make sure that every single person can do this. And so for that reason, I simply went to a local big box store and bought this mix from Jiffy. Jiffy is a really well-known company. They're nationwide in the US, and they do have some really great reliable resources to start your own seeds. So you'll learn from me other ways you can make your own seed starting mix, but for today, this is for every single person. It doesn't matter if you can't make your own at home. The point is just for all of us to get started and try our hand at starting seeds indoors, okay? Sound good? So this is Jiffy. It's natural and organic seed starting mix. I'm going to tell you what's in the ingredients. It is made of at least 50 to 60% peat moss, and that's what I normally try to avoid. We don't use that in our soil blends in our gardens, but this is a very small amount, and like I said, this is what's commercially available for all of us. And so we're going to start here, and then we'll talk about some peat-free alternatives later. So it has peat moss, vermiculite, coir, and lime for pH balance. Now, the neat thing to know when you're starting your seeds indoors is they do not need a lot of extra nutrients. All the nutrients that your seeds need to really get going is in the seeds. These things are magical. If you've never watched a seed grow into a plant, you are in for the best show of your life. Not exaggerating, even 10%. So I just want to show you how to get started. So when you have this seed starting mix, you're just going to buy a bag of it. This is going to allow me to set up probably 2 or 3 trays of plants with just this one bag. So depending on how many plants you're going to start from seed, you could just start with this one bag and that would be totally fine. So I like to get a bowl. It's probably easier if you even have like a big mixing tray. That can make it simpler. But what we're going to do is go ahead and soak this through. So you're not going to plant right into this medium. First, we're going to get it nice and wet. And completely saturated, because it's water that wakes our seeds up from sleeping and dormancy, not just being inside this seed starting mix. So water is vital, and this is the very first step to getting your seeds starting to grow indoors. So I have this little container here. I think it might be 2 quarts of water. I probably should have measured that for you, but I've got this bowl full of the seed starting mix, and you can see how loose this is. This is the main goal, the main requirement. You wouldn't want to just have like some topsoil or, you know, some normal potting soil to start your seeds, because you really do want this looseness. It's the looseness that gives all these air pockets for your seeds to start to grow in and to expand. And so you don't want a really dense soil matter when you're starting seeds, because it's going to keep those roots from really starting to spread out. So you can see this almost is, I'm trying to think of this fancy word. So hydrophilic means loves water. And then there's like a one that means like it doesn't like water. Hydrophobic, it's afraid of water. So it's almost like this seed starting mix is hydrophobic because it doesn't attach to the water very well. So you can see I'm already starting to make a mess. So this is perfect. I have to say, like if you have children at home, little kids at home, this is an activity that they can do alongside you, because it's just fun and messy. And like there's no rules for this. You're just simply literally mixing water into your seed starting mix. So I do recommend doing this a few hours before you're going to plant out. Just let it settle in and really get to a nice consistency. And then it's not, you know, overwhelmingly wet or, you know, still trying to settle in when you plant it. So I just do it like this. I just use my hands to mix it up. Again, this is like a great activity to do on a winter day with your kids. You know, just friends, whatever, have a big seed starting mix party. And that's what you do. So you want to get it to the point of saturation. Depending on how you're going to grow your seeds, if you're going to do seed blocking, you want it to be more wet. You want it to be a little bit more soaking. And if you're going to be putting this into trays, then you want it to be a little bit drier. So the test comes after you've mixed it up. The test comes from taking a handful and squeezing it in your hand. And you can see the water dripping out like that. That's the level you want it to be at if you're doing seed blocking. And if you're doing it in trays, then you want there to be less water that drips out when you squeeze it like that. So we're looking for a consistency that holds together, but that still breaks apart when we open up our hand, just like that. So it's going to take about 5 or so minutes to mix this up. Then you're going to let it sit for about an hour or 2 before you start to plant your seeds. And then you're ready to grow some seeds indoors. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.